Welcome to Make a Path Presents. My name's Ronnie Hayes, and in the review room today, we're going to take a look at The Walking Dead Comic Series 5, Prisoner Negan. This comes to us from McFarlane Toys, and it was shipped to me from Big Boys Toys. You can find the link in the description, because as far as I know, you can only order these figures from them right now, probably other online stores as well, and they're not being found in stores yet, probably in the coming week or so. So you can find the link if you want to order them and get them in a couple days, or just hunt for them in store like a bitch. The back of the packaging has images of all 4 characters from this wave, and you want to use your box cutter or get a parent to gnaw on the bottom here, so that way you can slide the plastic coffin out to keep the box intact in case you're that kind of asshole who wants to display it later as if it's mint in box. I don't know why you'd want to do that. I do that, but I'm an asshole. Look at these feet. Those are some sexy feet. Pretty good detail here. There's some, sloppy paint a little bit in the feet, but I think they did a pretty good job. And they did an amazing job on the pants here. I mean, the detail, the wrinkles, hiding the bends at the knee, I think they did a really good job there as well. And up top, you got the torso, the prisoner shirt, which has really good weathering effects and sculpt on it. I mean, really good. Now, the sculpt does hinder the articulation. We'll see that in a second. And the back here has nice waves. And holy fuck, what the hell's that? Oh my god, I forgot. I put the original Negan releases head on this to see if we can make a custom figure the laziest way possible. Just swapping a head is not a custom, you shitheads. Basically, the bulge in his neck is connected to his body on Prisoner Negan, and the bulge of his neck is connected to his head on the original Negan, so can't really do a custom unless you do a lot of grinding. Now, his original head on Prisoner Negan is fantastic. I love it. It is easy to pop on and off, though. I mean, it is ridiculously easy. It's like as if you turn him upside down, his head might just fall off. Alright, it's not that easy, but it's loose. Now, the face sculpt is terrific. I absolutely love it. I love how his hair is very pliable. I don't know, it just has a more realistic look to it, and I don't know if that makes any sense that it's pliable and looks more realistic, but it just does to me, okay? Yes, he does look like a pissed off Jesus, but if you take the original Negan's head and the Prisoner Negan's head, you could kind of see the similarities there. You can definitely see Negan's face back in there. Now you pop his head back on, and he looks like a badass. And I know this is a plain design. It's a plain outfit. Like I said with Comic Shane, though, I don't want you to add anything to spice this figure up. I want comic accuracy. You know what I mean? And that's it, because we're collecting figures that are supposed to leap off of the page, and that's all I want. So I think this Negan is fantastic. I have some complaints in the articulation. We're going to get to that in a second, but the articulation in his head can really give you some nice poses, either up, down, or sideways. You can really have him look as if, just don't pop his head off, but you can really have him look as if he's intimidating or just standing there, like an iconic statue, It's pretty badass. And he's a big bastard, It looked like he's been doing some working out in prison. But anyway, he looks down a good amount and he looks up a real good amount. So you get some nice articulation there with the head. Keep in mind, the head does pop off, though. Really easy. Now, with his arms, the articulation is bad. He doesn't move his arms up much at all. I mean, look at that. Even for opening wide, it's really stiff, and it won't go past that point. It feels like you have to snap his arm off to get him to raise it past that point. It can't come anywhere close to being straight up at the shoulder. Now, his elbow does twist around. It does swivel like usual, but the articulation in the elbow is horrendous. The sculpt, the way they formed it here, that's as good as it's going to get. And the wrist is a mystery as well. It'll swivel, but the hinge is there, but it won't hinge because of the shirt, the way it's molded, the way it's designed. Why even do that? Because having hinges in both the wrists there makes it more likely that you're going to snap a wrist off. So if you can't use the hinge, why even put it in the figure? Just give him a hand that swivels. Give him a cut, make it less likely to break. I hated this when I heard that there was a peg in Negan's hand, and there's no peg in any weapon or any accessory to use on that hand, and I thought it was dumb. Well, guess what? The peg is genius. They put a peg in his hand so he's able to hold a bucket and hold Lucille in the same hand. Genius. Look at how, effortlessly he's holding this bucket. It fits wonderfully. Now let's take the bucket off. Before we get Lucille, though, take a look at his other hand. The articulation's just as stiff, and he has really stiff waist articulation, so you want to work him out a little bit just to loosen him up to get him to turn a little better for you. I don't know if that's the paint making everything stick or what. His arms do rotate around pretty good, both arms. And then down at the legs, he does do the flying Jean-Claude Van Damme jump kicks. He can spin like a helicopter. That's another detail that you don't want to forget about because he does that a lot in the comic. But anyway, down to his knees, he has the usual bend at the knee with that piece of pant leg. Looks ugly when it's bent, but it really makes it look nice when you line it up. And it does swivel at the knee. But once you line it up, it makes that cut disappear. And I think that's fantastic. See how the pant legs look? I mean, up close you can see the lines, but I think they did a fantastic job because at a distance you can't see that, and it looks like a straight pair of jeans, you know? Now his foot, like all McFarlane Toys feet, you need to work them out a little bit. Start rotating them around, move them around a pretty good amount, and then they'll start loosening up for you, and then you can pivot them a lot better to put them in a stance. Enough with the foot fetish and tickling Negan's feet. He doesn't like that. So let's take a look at him. Yeah, he looks pretty cool. I like him. And he stands up with a little bit of work. Oh, jeez. You scared me, dude. How about some head? First accessory we're going to take a look at is his shit bucket, minus the shit. But we have beautiful dents in it. I love this idea of having the shit bucket because that's pretty much the only thing that was with him in the jail cell, or at least from the comic that was memorable. Just Negan, his outfit, his long hair, his beard, and his shit bucket. The handle tends to pop off easily, so just be careful with it. You don't want to lose the handle. That would suck. What did you expect? It's a shit bucket. Now, Lucille is pretty much the same. Out of every Lucille we've gotten so far that came with a Negan figure, this one is identical to the previous release. Color with no blood splatter. Now, here's what I'm talking about. This might not be a big deal to some of you guys, but I think this is frickin' awesome. And I know some people might say, well, just make him with the original Negan hand where he has a closed fist and then he can hold the bucket and Lucille at the same time. But this is what I love. He looks like he's naturally holding both. It's not like a clenched hand where he's gripping the hell out of a shit bucket. He's naturally letting it dangle off his fingertips. And then when he's holding Lucille, again, it looks like he's got a decent grip on it. And he could beat his own meat if he wanted to. I mean, he's in jail. What else is there to do? Not only that, with the original release, it was such a pain in the ass to get such a rubbery and flexible Lucille to fit in his hand. You would always bend the shit out of it and it would look awkward in his hand getting all bent. It got bent dick syndrome. So with this new setup with the peg, it can hold Lucille without bending the shit out of it. And moving over to one of the more fun and new accessories, we have the head on a spike now. Forgive me, I forget who this is. Either Eric or Marco or something like that, I forget. But great detail, great likeness for the character, even though I forget his name. And there's some nice blood detail on the stick at the top. Got some nice gore under his head. It's not as glossy as it should be. Not like the smashed Glenn head from the Negan and Glenn 2-pack, which is odd, but still, maybe that's because it's supposed to be a walker. But I like the makeup they do making this look like a walker's head, because keep in mind, they are walkers at this time. But the stick is something you need to be extra careful with. It's really thin, and it pokes into this base, which, again, I wish there was more grass than dirt, but it is what it's supposed to be. Maybe I just want the grass to stand out more, I don't know. But like I said, the stick, the dirty part at top is where the head goes, and there's some decent detail painted on there. I recommend you pop the head on first, and then you poke the clean end of the stick right into the base. Now, I'm gonna have to say this is a high recommend. I think although Prisoner Negan has a plain outfit, it's iconic and ripped straight from the comic book. It looks great, even though the articulation is restricted. That is a bummer, but it looks awesome, especially with the hopes of collecting all the severed heads. Thanks for coming by the review room, and don't let the door hit you in the ass while you're on your shit bucket on the way out.
Subscribe now.